Hey, everybody. Joe, Curtis, and I were talking about Linkin Park, and on After the Fact, we actually talked a little bit more about Linkin Park. Enjoy.
Well, you talk like that first album, you wrote it your whole life.
Yes.
And the second album you wrote between the first and second album, right?
Yep.
Like, I think The Hunting Party is a pretty strong return to form. And it is, the songwriting is similar. It doesn't quite get there with just how perfect 3 to 7 of those songs are on Hybrid Theory. But I think they're going for the same vibe. I don't know. It's weird because I think the production on Minutes to Midnight, the third one, like how they kind of layer the vocals and put the harmonies together, like some of that sounds really good. And you could even like make Hybrid Theory an even spicier meatball there with kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if they knew on that first record how to put the two voices together.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's a criticism, that's the one of them. Like in Minutes to Midnight, I think it was just like, well, it's time to just layer Chester.
Well, I was. Oh, go ahead.
I think that was a huge success on some of these songs for me. No More Sorrow, particularly. So I don't know. Justin, do you think maybe some of this is just, it's a phase in your life, and
yeah, I could definitely see that. And I think part of my hatred of them, so the thing I left out was there used to be Streetwise, like the street teams. And my friend Josh Hickey was on Streetwise, and Linkin Park was a Streetwise band. And I remember him giving me the One Step Closer tape, and he was all over Linkin Park. Loved them. Now he just dropped them immediately. One Step Closer hits the airwaves and he immediately dropped them. Whereas Hybrid Theory comes out and I'm like, yo, this is fucking awesome. Like I said, I was married to it for like a year.
Yes.
But then I feel like, now when you're younger, like a year and a half feels like for fucking ever.
It does.
So I don't know what the actual timeline before Meteora was, but it felt like for fucking ever. And they released like 6 singles off of Hybrid Theory, and then they followed that up with the remix record. So it was just exhaustion. And I think I kind of started going back to my 90s roots by the time Meteor is finally rolling around. I'm done with nu metal, just in general. And
I mean, let's just look it up. Like
we are,
it's 2003. Meteora came out.
Yep. So I'm that is about the time. It's funny, 2003. I met my wife in 2002. We started dating in 2002.
Yeah.
And her sister was a huge Linkin Park fan, but I think it was from Meteora in the remix album, not Hybrid Theory. And I just remembered at the time being so young and drunk that like that bothered me. I'm like, how could she? Like, there's so much better work. The one album. But
yeah.
I
was just gonna say that I was thinking about this the whole time we were doing the show, is if it was, and this would go to maybe keeping Justin into Linkin Park, if it was Hybrid Theory, and then they released The Hunting Party, and then they did Meteora, and then they did Living Things, Thousand Suns, and finished Minutes to Midnight, and then One More Light.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's
they'd have had him the whole way.
Possibly, yeah, because there was enough changes. Like, I think there's changes there
to where I think, like, I put it in that way because, like, I feel like that Justin would have been like, oh, they're changing. They're changing band. They're changing their sound so much so because, like, with the the way that it goes, the way that they released them, like not a whole lot really changed. But if you mix it up, remix it, there's enough change between each album where it's like, oh shit.
There you have it. More Linkin Park talk. And if you'd like to hear the rest of the conversation, where we probably do stray away from Linkin Park, it's After the Fact number 72. That's on Patreon, patreon.com/ohhijustin. $1 gets you in the door. If you'd like to hear our conversation on Linkin Park, just go forward one episode and push play. The program is available on all podcast platforms.